Hello everyone, this is Mr. Minnick and this is part of History in the Making. This is Mr. Minnick's math modules. I'm here with my second period Algebra 2 class today. Maybe they'd like to say hi. Alright, so in this module what we will be looking at is this symbol right here. Okay? This symbol is called the square root sign. Now, it has another name that some people who live on the West Coast and who engage in particular sports might know, such as skating and or surfing. It's called the what? The radical. It's called the radical sign. It's called the radical sign. Okay? It's called the square root sign or the radical sign. If you've ever typed on a keyboard and looked for this symbol on a keyboard, it doesn't show up like that. Just a little side note, on a computer in keyboarding, for keyboarding purposes, it shows up like this. The hat, if you would, the top bar, is real short if it exists at all. Usually you don't even see it. You just have to kind of assume it's there. On a keyboard, does anybody know the proper way, for instance, with Wolfram Alpha, to type in square root? For instance, if you're doing a Google search and you want to type in the square root, there's a shorthand way. If you're using Microsoft Excel, you can type this in. It's kind of funny, actually, what it is. It's one of my favorite kind of pops. I'm not a big fan of drinking pop or soda, but it's one of my favorite kind of pops, just with the vowels missing. Or not the vowels, the consonants, sorry. All right, so if you're ever using Wolfram Alpha and you want to type in square root, just type in SQRT, okay? So let's look at this a little bit deeper. Let's suppose we have the square root of A. A actually has a number, or it's a number. A is any non-negative real number. You should be taking notes on this, yes. A is any non-negative real number and is called it's got a name. Now the symbol itself is called the radical. The symbol itself is called the radical. When there's a number under it, that number under the radical sign has a name, and it's called the radicand. It's called the radicand. Okay? It is called the radicand. Okay? So this module talking about the radical sign is all building up to a bigger part, which will get you to be able to simplify square roots by the end of this. So there's one more thing in this particular module when we're talking about the square root that we need to address. And it has to do with what's inside that little notch right there. That little groove, if you would. There is a number in that notch called the index. In Algebra 2 studies, when you study later chapters beyond quadratics, you'll study nth roots of numbers. Okay? Now we take the square root of numbers, so it shouldn't be a major surprise what number's in that notch. But it surprises many people. So the number that's in that notch that we don't write, usually, is when we take the square root, the number is 2. We don't write it, but that's the number that's there. In later chapters, like I had mentioned, we will be writing other numbers, but that's called the index. That's 2. This has been a math module about the radical sign. Have a great day.